Well, welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Now, rest assured that we will stay close to this astounding development in Osun State, where a new man has been elected to assume the office of governor. But in the meantime, we'll be switching gears to speak with Bisi Adegbuyi, who is a lawyer, an entrepreneur, and immediate past Postmaster General of the Federation. And focus will be on TGIF, the Grandview Initiatives Foundation, a scheme that's been put together to assist in the provision of security, employment, credit facilities as well to Nigerians. Welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Good morning.
Good
morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Almost there.
You're trying to call out.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You call Adefemi's surname the way she calls it.
Adefemi.
Thank you. For once.
All right, that's fine.
You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You know, when we hear TGIF, another thing comes to my mind, to be honest. So please tell us about your own TGIF, what it means and what you're planning to do.
Thank you. This TGIF is the Grandview Initiatives Foundation. It's just not one initiative, several initiatives that are meant to impact society, empower the youth. It's just about giving back to the society what God has given to me, my endowments, particularly because of my incumbency when I was the Postmaster General of the Federation. I got exposed to lots of opportunities. I went through training, capacity building, development, and all of that. And as you know, this is the 21st century the fifth industrial revolution and the age of technology. With the help of existing and evolving technologies, you can get lots of things done. And one of the initiatives is to use technology to improve on our addressing system. If you know the value chain of addressing system, when you have a good addressing system, a robust one that is driven by technology, the opportunities are just limitless. Why TGIF, which is a private initiative? It's in line with the admonition of United Development Program, UNDP. In one of its bulletins, it says that the future of governance all over the world would have to rest on the partnership between the public sector and the private sector. I have been in the public sector as Postmaster General. It has its ways and dynamics. The retipism, the bureaucracy, if you like. But now that I'm out, I feel I have the opportunity to use a special purpose vehicle to partner with the public sector in driving some of these initiatives to empower our youths. As you know, demographically speaking, they are the majority. And these are technologically savvy people, entrepreneurs, and they're just looking for opportunities to make things happen. They are into e-commerce, logistics, security, and what have you. That's about it all. There's a lot of story behind it. If time permits, I'll run you through it, advantages, benefits of the initiatives, security, employment, access to credit, and so many other things.
All right, it sounds definitely like a very noble, venture or initiative, but let's look at the granular details of it. So, of course, the TGI seeks to provide hands-on assistance in terms of security, employment. There's quite a number of different causes you're trying to address. Could you talk us through how exactly this is going to be achieved, and what kinds of technologies are you going to be deploying in executing this?
So, we're deploying a solution that is hyper-specific, ultra-specific, the state-of-the-art, which we're going to use to change the addressing system riding on Google technology. So let me tell you a bit about it. The great guy behind this revolution is called Chris Sheldrick. You can Google what 3 words in your system there. It's about dividing the entire planet into 57 trillion 3 meters by 3 meters grid, each grid with a unique address that can be geolocated. And what this does is that everywhere all over the world, including the waters, the cave, and what have you, they are given addresses. Hernando de Soto, a Peruvian economist, underscores the importance of addressing, that if you don't have address, you exist outside of the law. And therefore, you may therefore just not exist at all, because you are not going to be covered by government. Government has a responsibility to provide for its people, and if we don't know where you live, you are not within the ecosystem that has been captured, we are not going to be able to cater for you. United Nations, in its estimates, put 75% of the world into a category of people without addresses. Where they exist, they are complicated haphazard. 4 billion people all over the world don't have addresses. So our solution is set to give addresses to Nigerians. We have successfully divided Nigeria into 300 billion. 3 meters by 3 meters grid, each with a unique address, riding on Google technology. And how do you go about having this address? It's via the instrumentality of an app that you can find on the Play Store and on the iOS. And the process is seamless. Once you download this address, you would input your details, your name, your address, and your telephone number, by the way. Of course, once you use your telephone number to download the address, automatically your BVN is captured, your name is captured, and if you have all of this, you can be rest assured that we will be doing a lot of things in our security architecture. Men of the underworld, the bad guys, they go into criminality because they know that they will never be found. And they do that under the cover of anonymity. But if you download an address and the address is verified to you, and we take your biometrics, which will be automatically uploaded in a data center, of course, there's no hiding place for anybody. This is not a magic. The guy that I said revolutionized this addressing system is a genius. The Financial Times of London said about the solution, a fiendishly clever solution. The Times of London said the cleverest technology ever to be seen in addressing system. What is more, this guy has integrated the solution with the Metropolitan Police of London, tracking criminals and all of that. How will it work in Nigeria? The consular responsibility for street names and addresses lies with the local government. And of course, you know, the way we are now, the state runs the show as far as local governments are concerned. Just have a command and control center, integrate this solution with it, and you have CCTVs everywhere. You can cover virtually everywhere 24/7. At the touch of a button, you have facility under the app where if it is emergency, health issue, robbery, just click on it and you're going to be asked, input your digital address. As soon as that is done, it is captured at the command and control center and signals are sent to various responders, either fire service, RRS, DSS, Nigerian police, and all of that.
All right, Mr. Adegbuyi, let me come in there. I like your reference to the UNDP thing about PPP, you know, private and public. But then, you know, private, in the wisdom of UNDP, is not just about private sector coming to government to ask for money. Usually it's about the private sector assisting the government with money. Your initiative, where does it fall into? And how far have you gone in liaison with the necessary government, agencies? Then more importantly, this sounds to me like yet another data capturing identity solution kind of a thing. How many are we going to put Nigerians through after their international passports? Lagos State, by the way, is coming up with yet another ID card project after Lastra. Your NIN is there, your BVN is there. Practically everything about you is with the government. And then you are bringing this one. I mean, are we not being overloaded?
No, we're not being overloaded, because I said that once you download the app from the Play Store and you follow the necessary protocols, you download your digital address. What we actually need, and we're going to achieve, is what we call convergence of data. Okay. All right? It's not as if we're adding another layer of data into it. They are together. Your BVN, your NIN, your tax ID. But the last mile in this ecosystem is where people live. You need to go verify their addresses, physically tie their faces, their picture, and biometrics to all the aforementioned data that have been synchronized. So they are put together. So there's no question of, it is what is called proof of address in the Western world.
Yeah.
In the US, it is Social Security. Okay? It is called NI, National Insurance Number in the UK. We just need to imbibe the global best practice if we want to join the rest of the world in leveraging on advantages that are derivable from embracing new technology.
Right. But I think just very quickly with what Steve is asking, I think it's more focused on being overloaded and just the mental aspect of saying that I want to go through this process all over again. It took me a while to do my NIN because I was just like, oh gosh, really? How receptive would you say the Nigerians are to a whole new process of identification? And when you talk about proof of address, some people are not all the way ready for that either, as much as we understand how important this is. So we move places all the time. How seamless is that process going to be as well when there's a change of address? So
let me say this. Anybody who has nothing to hide should ideally embrace this. Under the KYC obligations of banks, as you know, they are supposed to verify your address anytime you want to open a bank account. Anytime you want to procure a passport, they must verify your address. We must know where people live. So the idea of people saying that, hey, you're going to take us through another identity capturing ecosystem does not arise. When our people go abroad, they comply with what is obtainable there. We all want to be secured. We all want to enjoy the benefits of technology, but we don't want to do it the way the other people in the world do it. This is just trying to embrace what is obtainable in other jurisdictions. That is leveraging on technology and then trying to be part of the entire global world. And the World Bank will certainly be interested in this because foreign investors who want to come in and invest, who want to give money to banks, they want to be sure that when they give money to banks, banks want to lend their money to customers, they must know where those customers live. And there must be a robust recovery system. And one of the ways of doing that, by the way, is to ensure that you have your details well captured, your biometrics, all converged into one. Of course, we also have to bear in mind that there must be data protection.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Various laws, because it is the responsibility of the local government to do this. Local governments in their various jurisdictions can enact laws on how to go about protecting
you and I
the
know, sir,
interest.
that the local government is far from being technologically savvy.
Yeah.
And then, more importantly, what you have presented to us, how will it affect those, mobility of tenants, those who take short lets, those who move from Lagos to Abuja, those who get transferred, move.
Change of address, yeah.
So the
Change of address, yes.
So the addressing solution is about geolocation.
Okay.
It is tied to where you are. As I've said, we have subdivided Nigeria into 300 billion, 3 meters by 3 meters grid. So once your address is verified, you are given an address verification certificate for that particular location. If you move location, you are going to download another address for the location that you have moved to. In some cases, your address can travel with you. But since when you're downloading the address, you are putting your telephone number, and your telephone number is assigned to a unique identification number, which is yours. It cannot belong to two people, and it's tied to a particular location. That is the beauty of this initiative.
Who will fund this, and at what point can they possibly be kickstarted?
So, downloading the address is free.
Okay.
I have spent my resources to put it together. I mean, we pay license fees and some other fees, leveraging on the services of Google. That's part of what TGIF is set out to do, is giving back to society what we have. And then, because it is free, people can download it free of charge. Where some amount of money will be involved is when business concerns want to use these addresses for commercial purposes. For instance, a bank is asking you to go verify your address because you want to access loan. If you are accessing loan, you are using it commercially, you are going to make money from it.
Yeah.
You should therefore be able to part with a token, maybe a 700 naira, for the addresses to be verified. And this is where the issue of getting the use of Nigeria to benefit from the ecosystem. It's like Uber-like ecosystem. An address verification agent will come to your house with a device that will be given to them, ask you, hey, Mr. Yorinde, your address. By the way, the address of my office is LACO 5357. LACO is simply an acronym for LA, Lagos, KO, Kosofe Local Government, 5367, tied to my telephone number that I've used to download the address. All these unique numbers are assigned by algorithm. So I mentioned the issue of 700 naira for an address. They pay now. Banks charge you for address verification, maybe 500, 600 naira when you want to do it. So some people should be entitled to it. For instance,
you don't even know.
They don't do it. I mean, what I'm doing is born out of the experience and the need to get our people to work, especially Nigerian youths who are in the majority. These guys are technologically savvy.
Is this something that the postal services could have done when you were there?
Well, I tried doing it, okay? But you know the way government runs. The wheel of government runs steadily,
Slowly.
sometimes frustratingly slow. Sometimes bureaucracy will rear its ugly head, and you may not be able to get it done. And that's why we have to, in line with UNDP admonition, let the private sector and the public sector work together so that we can take advantage of this. If you leave it to the public sector alone, it might
never take off.
It might take forever. I wanted to do a pilot, and I interacted with development agenda for Western Nigeria, the Dawn Commission.
Dawn Commission.
You are aware of it.
Yes.
Where we had a spirit of immodesty. We set it up in my office. I was one of the people behind it. So we got all the commissioners of local government in southwest of Nigeria, commissioner for special duties and integration, special advisors to governors on addressing and all of that. And they were sold on it. They all loved it. So we formed the committee to look at it and then see how we can drive it. Hey, the committee is still working. That's recipism of the public sector. But we shouldn't be discouraged because once we put our hands on it, and we'll get the stakeholders to know that addressing has a long value chain. I've mentioned the issue of security, which is number one. If you're able to solve security problems in Nigeria, hey, 50% of our challenges would have been solved. It may interest you to know that I did the presentation of this solution to the Office of National Security Advisor, and they were impressed that, oh, with people like you, there's hope for Nigeria. You can run your biometrics, your address tied together. They were going to classify it as a critical national infrastructure subject to doing of certain things. But unfortunately, we weren't able to do it because of the usual bureaucracy I talked about. But now that I'm out, I feel the need to give back to the society what Nigeria gave to me, because I acquired the knowledge in the course of embarking on seminar capacity building. And that's the motivation, actually.
We have just very few minutes left, so I just want you to answer this very briefly. So what's your time frames? What could possibly stand in the way of this being executed? Because, of course, it's had a few legs. Let's talk about your time frames and what challenges could you possibly face?
Well, in the next few days, we will do a launch where we will take through the ecosystem, the front end, the back end, and all of that. I also believe that it is responsibility of the people in government, particularly the governors and their local government chairmen, to rally around this project and let's get it moving. I mean, we are confronted evidently by security challenges. Hi, this is a solution that can assist you. Our youth, brilliant guys, technologically savvy, they are into MSMEs. As you know, the engine room of any nation's economy is the development of the MSMEs. That's right. One of the problems they have is that they don't have access to credit. What's going to give you money when we don't know where you live? You just take off from where you live and you go with that money. But that will be a thing of the past if we can implement this solution. It's a partnership that I believe will work, and the value chain, unquestionably and evidently, is very long.
All right. Good. Well, Bisi Adegbuyi, who is the founder and convener of TGIF, thank you very much for joining us on the morning show and for explaining.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.